It's 3 o'clock. It's the 22nd day of February. It's beautiful, lovely spring afternoon here at Site B. It is I, your grumpy guide to all tabletop role-playing game nonsense that is known affectionately as the OGGM, and I'm following up on a question that was asked of me regarding the fate of the DM's Guild and third-party contact for 2024 Dungeons and Dragons. So if you're not familiar with the Adventurers League or the DM's Guild, this is a website. It is technically monitored by Wizards of the Coast. It is technically, everything on this site is technically legal, canon, 5th edition product, or most of it is anyways. This is the host site for all the Adventurer League's storylines. You can see them all here. All the current Adventurers League storyline is this one here. And it is supposedly coming to an end on the 24th of this month. Probably whatever convention is this weekend. At that point in time, they will be ending all the current 2023-2024 Adventurers Guild legal, canon, organized official play events and starting the new ones, which, as we know, are going to be heavily based in and around Planescape. So there's been some questions about what will be the fate of DM's Guild and other official and unofficial third-party content for 2024 Dungeons & Dragons once it goes live in September. There is a rumor that is about 80% maybe true, but still has not been 100% convinced that there is a brand new third-party contract floating around that third-party publishers will have to sign in order to make official product on D&D Beyond for the new D&D, and that this new contract supersedes the existing one, the one that came out last year for, all that nonsense with the OGL thingy. And this is maybe going to be a little bit more draconian and closer to what they tried to do last year for third-party creators with this new one. Because in order to make product that is official, canon, D&D 2024 under the new Player's Handbook, you will have to sign the new thing, if there is a new thing. And of course, since there will be a new system reference document, there will probably be some variation of a new take on the Creative Commons, even though they claim that there won't be. But then we also found out that the Creative Commons they put it under last year wasn't the one they meant to put it under. So, yes. And we know that since that rumor started circulating, we've seen several individuals go live on D&D Beyond with Ryko, OG, Ryko, live on the D&D Beyond, hosting new things like the Humblewood thing. So are those individual groups that have signed the new contract in order to be able to maintain product on D&D Beyond when 2024 D&D goes live? Or are they still under the old one? We don't know. So I have been asked if I know the answer, and the answer is I don't know. I have reached out to my local Adventurers Guild to see if they know what the plans are. Haven't heard back from them yet. I've reached out to the Adventurers League website, which, by the way, hasn't been updated or even looked at in over a year, to see if they know anything about the official organized play, and no response to that. And DM's Guild doesn't really do news, not the way the some of the other sites do. The Paizo site always does news. What's going on. The Games Workshop site does news with what's going on. Even Troll Lords Games site does news with what's going on. DM's Guild site doesn't. The closest thing they have is a FAQ. And the FAQ, as you can see, doesn't really let us know what the plans are or if they know them. We do know that there was recently a huge sale where pretty much all these products were marked down. Some of them are still, you can see, marked down but that sale ended. By the way, here it is. Here's Chains of Asmodeus, which was considered by many to be the best official canon D&D product of 2023 that came out of Wizards of the Coast. Here's the Vecna thing. You can pre-order it now, though I highly recommend if you get the Vecna thing, you get the Doomed Forgotten Realms instead of this one, which is hopefully still on here. If you've never seen it, we'll talk about that in a separate video. So, yeah, unfortunately, DM's Guild doesn't do news. So they do have a newsletter, but yeah, nothing on here that's going to help answer our questions. So the question remains, what is the fate of the DM's Guild once it rolls over to 2024 D&D? And what is the fate of official third-party content if there is a new thing that they have to sign in order to be able to create product for 2024 Dungeons and Dragons? Oh, but 2024 Dungeons and Dragons is backwards compatible. It's not a new product. Look, if they're printing 3 new books, it's a new product. If they're making all new stuff for the 50th anniversary under the new rules, it's a new product. Okay. If it's not a new product, if it really is 100% backwards compatible, then all of these things would probably not have gone on sale. There wouldn't be any concern. There wouldn't be the new storylines, which are taking us away from the Forgotten Realms and recognizable D&D settings and into Planescape, because as we know, according to Jeremy Crawford's unusual perception of reality, it's always been Planescape. Since 2014, D&D 5e has always been in, around, and about Planescape, and all they're doing with 2024 is confirming that it's always been Planescape. All those adventures that took place in the Forgotten Realms and the Swords Coast and that movie, Honor Amongst Thieves, well, they don't really count because it never really happened, because according to Jeremy Crawford's rather unusual perception of reality, it's always been Planescape. And the new storylines for the 2024 official canon organized play will be Planescape based as opposed to Forgotten Realms based. So that's one clue that they're trying to sort of get away from the recognizable stuff and, have complete control over one that they have, Planescape, and that has no connection to the past. The other one was the huge sale that they just had, where all of these were marked down. Some of them are still marked down. Again, if you want to see the best take on the Vecna storyline that Wizards of the Coast never followed through with, I highly recommend you take a look at my friend Scott McClintock's Doom Forgotten Realms, which is, since it was on this site, a official canon alternate Forgotten Realms universe where Vecna was the bad guy as he was always supposed to be, and ignore the one that Wizards of the Coast is making. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Adventurers Guild is still going to be a thing after the end of this year, or if they're going to shut it down and start something new. I don't know the fate of DM's Guild. I've reached out. To my contact in the AG to see if he's heard anything. I do know that in general, the actual 5e players, the heart and soul of the people who actually play 5e, the Adventurers Guild people, not the people that you guys blame all these things on, this non-existent pink-haired 5e woke, the actual 5e players are as upset about the changes as everybody else, if not more so, because it affects them way more directly than it affects all of us who don't play D&D. I mean, everybody who says, I don't play D&D, I'm never going to play 5e, I'm not going to buy 5e. Well, any changes to the 5e doesn't really affect you, right? Because you don't play it, you don't run it, you don't hang out with the AG, and you have no plans to support it in the future. So who cares what Wizards of the Coast does? But, for the people who do, they're more greatly impacted than you or I are, because they're the ones who are going to have to buy the new rules and sign the new things and accept the changes and go through the whole official canon 5th edition Wizards of the Coast sponsored canon hardback click stuff. So yeah, I do know that they are far more, concerned about the changes and how it's going to affect them. But as for the fate of the Adventurers Guild after the 24th, which is, I believe, the date where all the current storylines end and the new storylines begin, don't know. I'm gonna, worst case scenario, they have till January 1st, 2025 to do it. And then, Wizards can say, we're shutting the DMs Guild down. We're shutting the AG down to replace it with something new. And there'll be some hullabaloo about, updating and making it more accessible and bringing the Adventurers Guild into the 22nd century or whatever it is. And, worst case scenario, that's probably what's going to happen. Next worst case scenario, nothing really changes. The stuff that's on there will probably slowly disappear, but it's still on there. I mean, if there's something on here you want to get, you can still get it. You can still get Doom Forgotten Realms by Scott Clintock on here, and you can still get Change of Asmodeus. It's still on here, still considered the best 5e product that came out last year, still considered official canon 5e product. So if you want to see an actual decent 5e product that was made, Chains of Asmodeus or Doom Forgotten Realms or some of these other things on here, these are always considered better than anything that Wizards of the Coast puts out. And remember, they're official because they're on this site. So yeah. But yeah, as you can see, the Dungeon Masters Guild site hasn't been updated. The Adventurers Guild site hasn't been updated. The best we can do is look at their Facebook pages, and their Facebook pages don't say anything. We hope they stay around. We hope that the people who actually enjoy 5e still can enjoy it for years to come, and that Wizards won't squash them the way they have everything else. I don't, consider Wizards. I hope that's not the case, but I also kind of know it's Wizards, so I wouldn't expect, the biggest victims of the Wizards of the Coast nonsense are the people who actually play 5e, and they kind of get forgotten in this whole political hubbubaloo between the old school and the sparkle trolls, and then the people in the middle, they're the ones who are really getting the shaft. They're the ones who got shafted with the 2023 OGL nonsense, the people who actually play. And whatever is going to happen this year with official canon 2024 Dungeons and Dragons, they're the ones who are going to get screwed. Not me. I don't play it. So there we go. Fruchina and D&D. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, we got some comments. Rokio said, OG. And Wisher I say, Rokio. Cat Monroe Superhero says, hi. Rokio says, my guess is the stuff is going to miss the market after some more drama. D&D will be sold off again. Okay, we talked about that before. I've talked about that with Stephen Glicker. And the idea, I think, sort of kind of agreed upon is that there are 3 versions of Dungeons and Dragons, right? That Wizards of the Coast and Wizards and Hasbro can mess around with. So Dungeons and Dragons, the role-playing game, which is sadly the least important aspect of D&D right now. Could Wizards of the Coast be shut down, and could Hasbro decide, hey, somebody else take these rules and run with them? Here is the current rules. You publish them. You do all that stuff. We want to have no longer connection with all the negative bullshit that Wizards of the Coast created for D&D. Could Hasbro sell that off? Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. I mean, we still know there's that 2027 doom date. We do know, according to both Perkins and Crawford, that whatever 2024 D&D is, 2023 D&D going forward, it's only got a 5-year lifespan. They said that all the stories for 2024 D&D are going to be told over the next 5 years, which brings us to that 2027, 2028 doom date that Hasbro posted in 2020. So could they say, Renegade Press, you've already got all our other IPs, take D&D? Could they say, hey, Goodman Games, you're doing all that great stuff with Greyhawk, take the IP? Could they say, let's shut down Wizards of the Coast because they cause nothing but trouble and we don't really need them? Absolutely. If it doesn't happen this year, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. So that's D&D 1. What about digital D&D, where Hasbro thinks the real money is? The VTT, D&D Beyond, the video games, the movies, the television shows, the cartoons. Will Hasbro sell that off? They will rent out the IP like they're doing with the proposed Paramount D&D television show and the proposed second D&D movie. And yeah, the digital one, the video games, they'll, give people permission to make official product. They'll, rent out the IP like they have done in the past. You'll see Hasbro presents the official Dungeons and Dragons television show on Paramount Plus, if that actually ever happens. Which, people will keep saying it is, but we also know Paramount Plus is really, really angry at Hasbro for screwing them over with Transformers Earthspark. So whatever. So will Hasbro ever sell off the digital Dungeons and Dragons? Doubtful. They will probably let other companies make the movie, the video game, the VTT, just like so that, because they know it's easier to have somebody else do all the work, them reap all the rewards, and then the other company gets shit on when people are upset, which, they're kind of already doing with the video games and the VTT and everything else. So just go, you make it. We'll take all the money, but you get the, the clout for making it. And when people get upset, they're going to get angry at you. So that's D&D, the second part. Now D&D, the third part, the brand. D&D, the brand, where the real money is, the merchandising. Will Hasbro ever let that go? Absolutely not. That is the heart and soul of the D&D money. It's not the role-playing game. Sorry. It's, not as, video made them that plus 4% profit, but still it's D&D, the lunchbox, D&D, the t-shirt, D&D, the toys, D&D, the action figures, D&D, the flamethrower. That's the real money. And I doubt Hasbro will ever let that go. But will they ever let D&D, the role-playing game, go? Absolutely. I don't see why not. I'm surprised they haven't done it yet. I wouldn't be surprised that sometime around 2027, 2028, we start hearing that Wizards is shutting down. Video games and digital shit, sure, they'll let other people rent the IP, make Hasbro and, Laren Studios presents Baldur's Gate 4. Here's another $90 million. Ha-ha, look what we did. Yeah, that'll still be going on. But the merchandising, the D&D, the lifestyle D&D, the brand D&D, the breakfast cereal, no, never. They'll rent out the IP. Hey, you make some D&D t-shirts for us, and we'll get 33 1/3% of all sales. But no, let that go. I doubt it. I doubt it. They'd have to just, every other license would have to just tank for them to go, what of our licenses is making us the least amount of money? Is there anything making more money than Peppa? No. Is there anything making less money than Play-Doh? Or Mr. Potato Head? If it gets to the point where it's like people are like, whatever happened to the D&D toys? Then they might go, yeah, maybe we should let this go. But no, I don't see that area happening. But who knows? I could be wrong. That'd be funny. I don't know. I don't know what the D&D TV show is going to be. There's an article about it today, actually, but it says nothing. It literally is like a page worth of, hey, I don't know crap, but I'm going to talk about it. Much like me, you just listen to me talk about crap that I don't know anything about for 20 minutes in regards to the fate of the official organized play. So I have reached out. I have reached out to the DMs Guild, and I have reached out to the AG here in Ventura. Maybe they will answer me, and maybe I'll have an answer for you tomorrow. But thank you for asking, and thank you for sticking with me for these 20 minutes. And hopefully I didn't really accomplish anything. But hey, at least you know there are some product out there that is actually for 5e that's official, canon, licensed, official, Wizards of the Coast approved, 5th edition hardback that's actually decent. If you've never seen Chains of Asmodeus, it's good. And if you've never seen Doom Forgotten Realms by my friend Scott McClintock, it's great. It is so great. And I will talk to you all later.